Hey guys, so if you're watching this video, that means that the Model 3 Ludicrous has not been revealed yet, but we are anticipating that it does get released this week, be it tomorrow or next week. We cannot contain our excitement. It is finally happening. Now, before that day rolls around, there has been a lot of images and videos surfacing the web, coming from prototypes being tested and wrapped up to certifications and appearances in Korea, in Europe, and parts of the US. We are finally getting to see what the Model 3 Ludicrous is all shaped up to be, and our latest appearance being in Malibu, California, where the entire vehicle was uncovered preparing for the media test drives. Vehicle after vehicle after vehicle roaming around the streets nearby, completely uncovered, showing off the new colors and the new aggressive styling. It honestly is an incredible time to experience all this, as we are at the tip of spring rolling into summer, and I can't wait to see all these new Model 3 Ludicrouses driving around the streets in really nice sunshine. So far, with the latest details, we have practically seen every aspect of the Model 3 Ludicrous on the exterior. However, there are some parts that we have missed out, and a lot of it has to do with all the interior upgrades. Now, before we get to that, if you haven't seen my previous videos on everything going on the last couple of days with the media groups and test drives, definitely go check that out, because in the next couple of days, we are not only going to be able to order the new Model 3 Ludicrouses, but we are going to be getting the honest, actual reviews of how it performs by these media groups. They are going to be giving us the entire rundown of what the Model 3 Ludicrous is all about. So we all know by now that there is going to be a massive difference with the Model 3 Ludicrous versus any of the other trims. This is the very first year and the first time ever Tesla is differentiating between certain trims within the same model lineup. Even the Model S Plaid, which is their flagship vehicle, does not get any signature differentiator between the long range versus the top of the end. That means that if the long range owner does decide to buy a Plaid badge, there cannot be a way to tell the differences between them. But of course, all this is changing fairly soon, because Tesla is also applying the same technique to the Model 3 Ludicrous as they are going to be doing the Plaid as well. So that means that there is going to be an upcoming difference between all of the different models and all of the different trims. I would expect this to carry down from the Model S to the Model X down to the Model Y once all of it is set and ready to go. Alright, so with the Model 3 Ludicrous here, we are going to be getting a good chunk of upgrades on the inside, but the two biggest one and the most noticeable one has to be the new carbon fiber trim as well as the sport seats. The dashboard will now be replacing the gray fabric mesh. Now in place will be the carbon fiber trim, which wraps around the entire width of the vehicle. This has been seen in some of the prior leaks that I have shared with you guys, but it is nothing in comparison when seeing it in person. And luckily for us, an attendee from this event has given us an inside shot of what it's like being in the seat of the new Model 3 Ludicrous. So pretty much it's exactly what you expect. This is a dark carbon fiber piece with some texture points that gives you a really nice feel as soon as you hop inside and look at the front outside the window. In my personal opinion though, this is not the biggest deal in the world. You can probably swap out this trim piece if you really wanted to, and there will eventually be some aftermarket parts somewhere. Some company is going to be selling them, so this is something that you're not specifically going to be buying the Ludicrous for, but it's really nice to have. Then we have the most important and the most noticeable part of the interior of this car, and that is going to be the newer sport seats. Obviously, we are pretty familiar with it by now, but most of the images we've seen so far have either been shot from really far away or from a potato, but now we finally get a really good shot of what the whole entire seats look like. The elongated headrest and the side bolstering are going to play a really big deal if you're really going to take this car down to the tracks. Then we also have the Ludicrous emblem or logo right underneath the headrest. This just gives you a more premium feel as soon as you hop in, knowing that it is the top of the end line trim. Now, talking about the seats, I do have a real concern about this. However, this is going to do with the bolstering and the adjustments that it's able to do. From the images that we have here and looking at the side control controls, it does not seem like we have any adjustments for the bolstering of the passenger seat. Normally it would be some kind of button or round knob, but it could possibly be moved over to the UI, and that's where you may control the passenger seat lumbar and bolstering. I don't know, but I really do hope that this does get included at least into this Ludicrous model, because otherwise it means it really limits you to having to stay really fit for you to enjoy this car. Now, I'm sure there are a bunch of other things for the interior side, and I did document it in another video. If you guys want to check that out, there are a couple minor things that are going to be different, a little bit of changes here and there. I'll drop that in the description below. But as of right now, these are going to be the two things that really pop out to you as soon as you open the door and hop inside. Alright, so before we wrap everything up here, there is one additional thing that just popped up, and it's really nice to know the details too. This is going to be the new wheels that we've been talking about for the very long time, the 20-inch warp wheels. However, we haven't talked about the tires. With more recent images surfacing and a lot of them being extremely high quality, we finally get to see the specs and the details of the type of tires they are going to be using. Now it has been confirmed that these are going to be staggered tire design, meaning that the front and back are going to be different, and if you do decide to swap them, you're going to be getting different sets each time. So the width of the front tires are going to be smaller, whereas the back is going to be a lot thicker. This is probably for all the crazy 0-60s and Ludicrous launches. And speaking of Ludicrous launches, there is going to be a Ludicrous mode, and if you guys want to know more about this when it does arrive in a software update, go check out my previous video, because this is going to be where you're going to get the most performance out of this new car. So yeah, with the staggered design now officially confirmed, we are going to be getting 235s on the front and 275s in the rear. This is going to be the same 275 that are on the Model Y Performance, and that being an SUV and this being a sedan. Having that thick, fat tire on the new Model 3 Ludicrous is going to make it look very incredible. So honestly, with all the hate going on for the new warp wheel design, we never know. In person, it may look a lot better. Right now, with the current design and the aero caps, it is quite controversial between the Uber turbines or this new wheel. But they are likely going to be offering some newer wheels, the updated Uber turbines, which I've talked about in previous videos. All of it I'll drop in the description below. And then they are likely going to be offering the same wheels they've been offering in China to us, the zero gravity wheels. Those look fantastic, and hopefully they arrive in North America just in time for this launch. So there you have it, the first really good look at the interior of this car. And although this may seem repetitive for those of you really anticipating the purchase of this Ludicrous, I'm trying to provide as much new information as possible, so bear with me here while things are being released and a lot of information does need to be repeated at times. I will continue to keep an eye on every little detail that comes up and share with you as soon as I hear anything. But keep an eye on it yourself, and if you do see any little new thing that comes up, hit me up at HeyJohnE over at Twitter or X. Over there you guys can chat with me, DM with me anytime, and I will try to respond as quickly as possible. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification, so if I drop a new video, you will be the first to hear about anything related to this new launch of the Model 3. This should wrap it up for today's video, but definitely expect more to come in the next couple of days. This is it. This is John once again. Peace out.